I am Eric Adams, the Brooklyn Borough President, and I want to thank Deborah Haberstein for allowing us to come out here at this museum that's a symbol of the Crown Heights community struggle to ensure that all forms of hatred is stamped out. And that's why it was important for us to come out here on Kingston and Eastern Parkway, blocks away from the assault that took place last night. When I responded and saw that the New York City Police Department was already conducting a very thorough investigation. This is a very important statement and signature we want to send out across the entire city as part of our overall movement that all lives matter. All lives matter in this city, and all lives matter in this borough. And anytime you have an open assault on an innocent person with a knife while you are wearing a mask, that is not a simple assault. There's more complexity to that, and that is why it needs to receive the necessary attention that we are giving it. A person does not adorn a mask and attack a security patrol unless they are up to premeditated hate. And that's the type of hate we don't want in Crown Heights, we don't want in Brooklyn, and we don't want in the city. And so it is important that any time that hate shows its ugly face, even when it's covered with a mask, that we as community leaders, elected officials, and other activists come together and put out a strong call. I'm happy that the members of the ADL, who's going to speak in a moment, is putting out a $5,000 reward on this issue to bring in the person who's responsible for it. When you saw what happened, also the assault of a Jewish resident and use hateful Jewish anti-Semitic terminology this morning, it is a combination that we want to stop right away. And that's why we're here, a cross-section of community leaders that make up this beautiful place we call Crown Heights, Brooklyn. And where the residents and the people of this borough think it's important to live together. We know how to live together in Crown Heights. And we're not going to allow the small number of small-minded people with their hatred to take away what we have spent so many years bringing together. And that is why we're here today. We want anyone who witnessed any part of this assault, if you have any video footage, if you saw someone fleeing the scene or holding a mask in their hand, any information that you have, to turn it over to the police department. The police department has clearly indicated that they are investigating this as a possible hate crime. I'm happy that you see that they're not trying to sugarcoat this issue. They are responding in an appropriate fashion to conduct a thorough investigation based on what the facts remain. You do not do assaults wearing a mask merely because someone bumped into you. You did it because you had a premeditative action, a premeditative thought. Just as the terms that were used this morning of someone stating they are tired of any ethnic group, is not what we are about in this city and not what we are about here in the borough of Brooklyn. And so I'm here with many of my colleagues in government, but I want to first call on Deborah Haberstein, who was standing here in front of the museum that's representative of the spirit of her son, and she knows far too well what hatred can do, and we don't want that hatred in our city, in our community. Deborah?
Thank you all for coming here today. I just want to say that one incident is too many, two is much too many, and each time, in fact last night, my heart started to pound wildly when I heard what took place, and thank God the victim is alive and getting better, and we all pray for him. But for me, this is a message to the mayor, the president, the city, the country. This must stop and must be nipped in the bud immediately. We have to catch the perpetrator who has done this last night. Thank God this morning we already have the person who committed the crime in custody. And thank the NYPD and our borough president who put this together so quickly.
Thank you. And as you know, last night we also had an assault on the train. We want to thank the police department for their quick apprehension of the person who assaulted two people with a box cutter on the C train at Ralph Avenue. Representing this community as the councilperson, Lori Cumbo.
Good afternoon. I first want to start by thanking Borough President Eric Adams because his swift action and response is reminiscent of what has happened here so many times in my short time in office. We've gathered here on this corner and far too many times around issues of hatred in our community. Crown Heights is a success story. Crown Heights represents the very best of what diverse cultures can look like. Brooklyn, New York is the most diverse place in the entire world. This is where people of all cultures and nationalities come to live and to raise a family. And if diversity is not what you love about this place, if it is not what you care about, if it is not what you think is special, Brooklyn is not the place for you. We are gathered here today because we want to live in a community where people of all races and nationalities can live and coexist and live peacefully. And the challenge is when these types of horrific accidents, these kind of horrific situations, attacks, brutalizations happen, it brutalizes the entire community. And that's really why we're asking for people to come forward. Because if you don't come forward with this information, that perpetrator is still out on the loose and can bring bodily harm to other individuals as well. It's important for us to be able to live together and work together in this community. I am so pleased that on Sunday there's going to be a major convention where rabbis and individuals of the Jewish faith will be coming to Brooklyn, New York, because they have recognized that Brooklyn is an incredible place for the Jewish community, and we want to welcome them with open arms, and we want them to understand that Brooklyn is a safe community. We are so proud of the work that the NYPD has done in bringing the perpetrator forward, and we are asking for individuals to come forward and to make sure that we catch that other person, because this is a brutal attack. It brutalizes the entire community because there are far too many people that are working on a day-to-day basis to make sure that this is the safest community, to make sure that this is a community where all cultures, religions, and nationalities are respected. And when individuals do that, they tear away at the fiber of what is so special, dynamic, and incredible about Brooklyn, New York. I'm going to continue to work with the police department on this particular issue. I want to send out my prayers to the family of the 34-year-old volunteer who was attacked. I want to send out my prayers to the other individual that was also attacked. And I want to make sure that we continue to come forward and to look for this particular individual, because as long as they are on the loose, our community is going to be facing many challenges in terms of safety. So I want to thank the borough president. I want to thank everybody that's come here, because today is a day. Anytime there's an act of violence in our community, anytime somebody is attacked, it does not matter the race or the nationality, this community comes together to say that we will not tolerate this in our community. So thank you again. Thank you for everyone for being here. And thank you to Devorah Halberstam for yet again opening up her space, because this is more than a museum. It's a gathering space to teach us the beauty of loving one another, of all races and all nationalities. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilwoman. This is an important weekend, as the Councilwoman acknowledged. We're going to have thousands of representatives from the Lubavitcher community, the convention that's held here. When we conclude this press conference, I am going inside and I'm going to register for that event, as well as the thousands of religious leaders who have registered already, to send a very strong message. They are safe in Brooklyn to come here and participate in this important convention as they emerge onto the borough of Brooklyn, the Crown Heights community, to hold such an important gathering. No one has been more vociferous around the issue of fighting anti-Semitism than my friend Dub Hyken. So we want to hear from Assemblyman Dub Hyken.
Thank you. First, thank you, Mr. Borough President, for putting this together. Let me just make clear there are two rewards, $5,000 each, one from the ADL, one from the Crown Heights Community Council, Hanita Sperlin. So this is being taken very, very seriously. When I heard the news last night, sort of the middle of the night, or whatever time it was, Having just returned from Jerusalem, spending 4 days walking the streets of that great city, and watching as we walk the streets, you know, keeping my eyes open all the time, because you never know who's going to pull a knife on you, and you know the tragedies that have happened, and the deaths that have happened, and the people who have been seriously wounded. The first thing myself and many other people thought about, a knife being used, someone with a mask, and that created great concern. And until we find out who that person is and who's responsible, you know, people are going to be wondering. So we have a great police department, the best in the world, and I'm sure that they're going to apprehend this individual. You know, we have zero tolerance for hate. Unfortunately, there's too much of it out there. People who don't like a particular group for whatever reason it is, but there's nothing that is acceptable in terms of hating other people. And one of the things we need to do, we did it in Borough Park in Midwood with the Kletsky Initiative, where we put cameras throughout the community. I mean, you can now walk 3 blocks in Borough Park or Midwood and not be on camera, where the local precinct can go to the video at any time, 30 days before, the night before, and they can see exactly what happened on that particular corner. So I want to make my own pledge, and with the elected officials of this community, and I'm ready to actually help with some capital money, to actually bring more surveillance cameras into this community. Put them all over the place. It's what's happening. It's in Manhattan all over the place because Manhattan is so important. Well, Crown Heights is just as important, and Brooklyn is just as important. So let's bring those cameras in so the bad guys know that if they're going out there and they're going to try something, you're going to be on camera and we're going to get you immediately. That's what we need to do. I thank all the elected officials, the community people, Hanina Sperlin, one of the great leaders of this community, for the great unity that exists here. Thanks to the borough president. You know, we stand together always. I wish one of these days we can stand here for something very positive, and all the cameras will be here as well. But until then, this is one of the beautiful stories of our city, that in Crown Heights, Jew, non-Jew, black, white, yellow, green, we stand together with one voice, speaking out against hatred, against racism, against anti-Semitism. Thank you.
Thank you. Well said, Assemblyman. Thank you very much. And also representing the JCC, my good friend Michael Miller, Executive Vice President.
Thank you, Mr. Borough President. Michael Miller. I'm the CEO of the Jewish Community Relations Council, the JCRC. This is a beautiful borough. This is a beautiful neighborhood. Crown Heights is a neighborhood that we feel very special about. But enough is enough. We were here less than a year ago, Mr. Borough President, and many others who are standing with us, because there was a knifing in the main synagogue here at 770 Eastern Parkway, where a young man was sitting and studying and praying, and somebody walked into the synagogue and stabbed him. And we're here again, standing on a street corner, saying another attempt at somebody's life here in this neighborhood, not only last night, but what happened this morning. And I think we've had it. Certainly, the New York Police Department is doing an exceptional job of doing the investigation and doing what they can to protect this community. But more needs to be done. More needs to be done by members of this community as well. I'm very, very comforted to know that the borough president is here, and the city council member is here, and others are here who are not members of the Jewish community. This is not a Jewish issue. This is a New York issue. This is a human issue. And as the borough president said, and I want to emphasize and underscore, every life matters. Every life, certainly in this community, matters. I thank the borough president for convening all of us, And as was just mentioned a moment ago by the Assembly member, let us hope that in the future we'll be standing right here on this street corner celebrating life, not condemning hatred. Let's stamp out hatred and let's celebrate who we are as New Yorkers, as Jews, as Christians, as Muslims, whatever faith. We're here to celebrate, not to mourn. And thank God in this instance we're not mourning, but we sure are upset.
And representing the New York Regional Director of the ADL, Evan Berenstein.
Thank you, Borough President Adams, for convening us. Thank you for all the other dignitaries that are here. We at the ADL obviously were shocked and appalled by what happened over the last 24 hours here in the borough. And that is one of the reasons why we put out the $5,000 reward to incentivize the community to try to find the person that perpetrated this heinous act in the community. We want to thank the New York Police Department. The NYPD has always been just so amazing when it comes to these kind of instances. We were on the phone with them late last night. We know they're working incredibly diligently on trying to find the person that did this and trying to protect the Crown Heights community and protect all of New York City. And for that, we never want to take that for granted. I think it's critical as you talk not only about the act of hate that took place, it's how we can prevent these acts of hate from taking place in the future. And I think the only way that we can learn to prevent hate is a learned behavior. And as a community, we need to come together on both sides, the Jewish community and the non-Jewish community, and put aside our differences and find the common threads, which are more than we realize, and learn how we can act and live together without these kinds of acts of hate. And the way we do that is through education. The way we do that is finding ways to talk, finding ways to work together, and finding ways that we can communicate on a human level. And I think that's something that we need to continue to do, so we don't have to be here at the podium as often as we've had to have been here, unfortunately, in the recent past for these types of incidents. So I really hope that this is an opportunity that was really horrific, is an opportunity for us to come together in a positive way, two communities together in New York, to try to find ways to prevent this from ever happening again and finding ways that we can work together. So thank you.
Thank you. And representing a large community in the Williamsburg section, a good friend, Rabbi David Niederman.
Thank you very much, Brooklyn Borough President and elected officials. And as stated before, I'm the name is Rabbi David Niederman. I'm the head of the United Jewish Organizations of Williamsburg. And the question is, this is not Williamsburg. This is Crown Heights. But today, we are all Crown Heights. Brooklyn is one, Mr. Borough President. And why is that? Because the life has been threatened. Thank God it didn't happen, but it could have happened. And it could happen to this one. It can happen to anybody in Brooklyn or New York City or any place. And we are here to say diversity is something that we celebrate. And we are happy to see here the diversity getting together when we're dealing with the life of a person, happen to be of the Jewish faith, but we're here together whenever there is an incident here or other places. Because we were taught in the Talmud, whoever saves one life is as he has saved a whole world. Whoever wanted to stab, kill this fine gentleman who is sacrificing day and night to save others is as he would have wanted to kill the entire world. And the message is, we are all here, and this cannot happen. There's no place here and no place. And I just want to echo and thank the Borough President for taking the initiative on trying to bring security surveillance all over Brooklyn to make sure that people should understand, if you want to commit a crime, don't do it here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. And I think it's important to know that as Suleiman Hyken stated, our goal is to have the cameras throughout the borough where nothing is more helpful to police agencies than when something happens, not only in the place where it happens, but footage that shows a person leaving or arriving at that location. Video surveillance is a crucial tool. We know how helpful it was to solve the case in Borough Park. We believe that having more video surveillance can be a great tool for the New York City Police Department as we move forward to make this borough and this city a safer place. We also want, during this weekend, as I stated, thousands of leaders are going to be here, so we're going to reach out to the police department and ensure that we have an increase in visibility to allow those who are participating in the convention know that they're here in a safe place. As I stated, I'm going to register today to show how I believe that this is a safe community, and we're going to continue to be a safe community. The last speaker, I think it's important to have him say a few words. He has shown a great deal of leadership around violence throughout the years. Violence anywhere impacts us everywhere. And this is not, as Rabbi Niederman stated, this is not a Jewish issue. This is not a Caribbean issue, an African American issue. This is an issue of public safety for all the people of this borough and this city. And one of the leading voices around that is Tony Herbert. Tony, please say a few words.
Thank you, Borough President, to our council member, to the leadership here in the Jewish community, to the assemblyman. Thank you guys for your leadership. Not too long ago, we stood not too far from here to deal with the knockout game. We stood with the Jewish community to make it very clear that we stand as one city, one community, one family. We do that again today. But the message has to be very clear. We are one family, one community. You know, I don't look to say that I'm in the Jewish community. I say I'm in a community where my brothers and sisters stand. The Jewish community is a culture that we need to stand behind 100% and vice versa, so that we can actually eradicate the violence in our community as a collective. And it has to be done as a unified effort. And I think that message is clear, that everybody spoke to that today. And that's what we're pushing forward with. And I want to send a message clearly to those that would come out and do harm to those that they think are vulnerable. Think twice. We will stand here to ensure that you are put in jail if you assault anybody that represents Brooklyn and are culturally positioned to say that we are the best of the best, and that's what New York City is all about. We stand together, we stand behind our borough president, and we stand behind the Jewish community, and make no doubt about it, you will go to jail if you hurt another New Yorker.
Thank you, Tony. Senator Jesse Hamilton, who represents this area, Ruben Lipkin is here representing him, but Senator Jesse Hamilton, who left the country, is very much part of this initiative. I spoke with him last night. We'll open the floor to any questions at this time if you have any. Again, this investigation is ongoing. The police department is looking at this as a potential hate crime until the final investigation is determined. We'll open the floor to any questions.
Mr. Borough President,
yes.
Has anyone here had a conversation with either of the victims? And if so, how are they doing physically, emotionally? How are they?
Anyone speak with the victim? I don't believe anyone here, but I think you could speak with one of the police department representatives and they'll answer that question. And we want to again point out the job that both Sharam and as well as Hasela and other volunteer organizations that do. The member who was assaulted was a member of Hasela. We will reach out to his family and him to find out if there's anything we need to do. I did not speak personally with him. I like the police department to conduct their investigations before I speak to a victim at all.
Is it your understanding that these are two separate incidents, or you think that one is related to the other?
As it is reported preliminarily, it's two separate incidents. But the police department, I'm sure they're going to do their due diligence since they're so closely that happened in the same proximity. I'm sure they're going to see if there's a connection between the two. But as of this time, it is our understanding that it is two separate incidents.
Shayna? Was he on patrol actually for?
Was he on patrol?
He was just walking?
No. No, he, as we just stated, he was walking. That's what makes it even more horrific. They were not attacking him because of his duty as a safety patrol officer. They was attacking him, it appears, due to his religious belief and who he represents.
There's been attacks here in the neighborhood of Jews that live here for years, random attacks here and there. Why the press conference now? What's different? And the second, as Mr. Heiken mentioned, is there fear that this is connected to the stabbings in Israel? Is there fear that this is a terrorist attack, not just a hate crime?
Well, okay, two things. We have responded anytime there are assaults across the street from here. As Councilwoman Cumbo stated, we had a mass rally for public safety because attacks on anyone, we believe we need to respond to accordingly. So there's always been our position never to remain silent, no matter who it is. SOS, one of the organizations here that deal with anti-violence, anytime there's any form of shooting incident, they have a shooting response. So built into how we assist the police is that we immediately respond. This is a community that refuses to remain silent when violence shows its head. And before the Assemblyman speaks directly to that, there's a clear message. It doesn't matter if it's in Tel Aviv or NYC. Jewish residents must feel safe, and they should not be attacked before their religious belief. And we are making it clear that we're not going to have any form of similar attacks that's taking place. This is a safe community, and it will be a safe community.
Let me just respond again to the first part of your thing, of your statement. We have always been out here way too many times. We had a press conference across the street. We had one down the block. Every time something happens that's serious, we stand together to make our voices very, very clear that we are united. Our communities are one. So that's been an ongoing thing. With regard to what I mentioned going on in the Middle East, that is the natural inclination of people in the Jewish community. I start my morning, as do many people, opening up the computer to find out what's the latest in Israel. When I open my computer in the morning, it's 7 hours later. I close my eyes, by the way, before I actually look at the headline, hoping that no one was stabbed and no one was injured. So that is the natural reaction that I had, and I know other people that I've spoken to are concerned. We hope to God it's not connected. Thank God, whatever's happening in the Middle East has been kept out of New York. It's wonderful, it's great. But until the person is apprehended, someone with a knife, again, remember, when you go out with a knife, you are capable of murdering someone. And that's exactly what happened last night. The person who did this wasn't out to rob someone and give you your money, or they used a knife and stabbed somebody. What was that all about? Right now, we don't know. You know, it's a funny thing. It's like hoping that it was what? Oh, nothing, just had nothing else to do. And he saw a Jew and he said, let me stab that Jew. And it's not connected to the Middle East. But right now, we just don't know. But the natural reaction with what has happened in the Middle East is that knives have become a real weapon to be used against innocent men, women, and children, and that's why the concern. Thank you.
Peter and then Janine.
What was it specifically about this victim that you believe this is a hate crime?
Well, I didn't make that belief. The police department has made the determination that it would be investigated as a hate crime. So when you wear a mask, randomly stab someone, even if you didn't use any exchange of dialogue, that in itself states that there's something that was an underlying reason that only a proper investigation would make the determination if it was a hate crime. Last night, when I spoke with the NYPD, they stated that, Eric, we're going to investigate this as a possible hate crime, and I have a lot of faith in the hate crime unit to make the right determination.
Janine, then James.
Was there nothing caught on camera, and talk about the need to set up cameras?
Part of the investigation has unveiled some video footage. The police department has not withheld what that video footage is. But it is a further call. When you have cameras, not only does it help with the particular incident that took place, it helps when someone is fleeing from the location or they're arriving from the location. If we have video footage that shows someone has a mask in their hand or someone running with a mask, that is an important part of the investigation. NYPD is great at piecing together fact patterns to determine what happened, and no better way to do those fact patterns is with the camera, and that's why we're pushing further to have video surveillance throughout the entire borough of Brooklyn.
James?
Your budget and your budget?
Well, let me just, in Borough Park and Midwood, we made this happen about 2 years ago after the Kletsky terrible, what happened with that young boy. And by the way, the only reason the person who did this dastardly act to Libby Kletsky was because of a camera that was there, a private camera. So, you know, as a result of that, we now have cameras everywhere. So if someone commits an act right here, and you're going this way, that way, or the other way, you will be on video surveillance. So I look forward to working with the borough president who has been advocating this and talking about this. I am prepared in Crown Heights to actually help with some capital money we have from the state and work with the elected officials to make it happen. I mean, when you have those cameras on that corner and that corner and that corner, it's going to create a lot more. Look, it's not the perfect solution. There is no perfect solution. But when the bad guys know they're going to be on camera, they go somewhere else.
Jane, you're good? Okay. Yep.
Yeah, I just want to be clear. Was the gentleman who was stabbed, did he have a Shamrim jacket or a yarmulke? He was identifiable.
A solo.
He had a hot solo jacket?
But I think it's best to find out from the NYPD. He probably may have worn yarmulke, but it's best to speak with NYPD and get the exact facts, so we don't give you any misinformation. Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.